We are at the Outflow Camping Ground in Confluence, Pennsylvania. The Yock Dam is over that way. We've been here before, been here a couple times before, but today is a special occasion on this special day in July. This is my 60th birthday, so we are planning on a 60-mile ride. Let's see if I can get that in there. Okay, no use dictating much now. Let's go for a ride. Hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still. Okay.
Get front.
I got my Confluence, PA. It is the confluence of the Councilman, the Yock Allegheny, and the Laurel Creek. I always say I'm going to look that up. I never do.
I'm going to go put this in the garbage.
Okay. Confluence, Councilman, Laurel Hill. So there we go. Laurel Hill Creek, Councilman River, and Yock Allegheny. We chose this campground for a few reasons. One of the reasons that we chose the outflow, named because this is where the outflow of the dam is, for the Yock Lake, man-made lake. But as we leave the campground here, right up there at the stop sign, that's the gap trail. We don't have to move the RV, we're just on our way. That way lies Pittsburgh, and this way lies Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is not our target today. Our target is to do 60 miles. So far undecided on whether we're going to do 30 miles out, 30 miles back, or go south so far and come back and do north. Kind of leaning towards that because we'd like to go to Ohio Kyle, but boy, I really like the Big Savage Tunnel and the view coming out of there. And Salisbury Viaduct and Myersdale and Rockwood. But that may be a reach. That would definitely be a reach to get all that in today. We did 30 miles yesterday, just kind of exploring around. And this is, well, this is technically part of the Gap Trail. It's kind of through these posts here, I think. All right, we're on our way. Now I have to be judicious with my battery to make sure I have my backup battery. But 60 miles is a lot of miles.
Yeah, but it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about my battery, so I'm gonna have to be real selective. It's gonna be hard. Not the 60 miles, but choosing what to put in the 60 miles.
Yeah.
You know, I might just take that off of the video.
Oh yeah, don't put that.
Or maybe I'll leave it in.
Hey, might be a tip somebody really learned from.
And not just for bicycling.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And this is the Councilman River. The gap starts at, arguably, I guess, starts at the point in Pittsburgh. The confluence of the Allegheny, the Monongahela, forming the Ohio. Follows the Monongahela, the Mon, till it gets to the Yock in the Keysport, Yock Allegheny, and follow the Yock to Confluence. And here in Confluence, you pick up the Councilman, and then at some point, it heads up over the hill as you go up through the Big Savage Mountains. Here we go, the 60-mile marker. How about them apples, huh? How about them apples? All right, let's get moving.
Let's do it.
We got 59 more miles to go. Mile marker. Or from Pittsburgh. Mile marker.
They are not cheap.
We will cross the Councilman several times. Just breaks my heart. Well, I bet you couldn't tell we were coming, huh? So on this little bit chilly July morning, as we celebrate my 60th birthday with a 60-mile ride, we chose this area because the campground is right on the trail, because some of my favorite sites are along here, but they're more closer to Rockwood and Myersdale and the Salisbury Viaduct and the Big Savage. I mean, come on, the Big Savage would be an awesome place to celebrate my birthday, and it's the only way to get there is on bicycle or, you know, helicopter. And since I don't think I'll ever be able to afford a helicopter, it's only that way for us to get there. It'd be an awesome place. But we also chose it for the 60-mile marker. Okay, say that again.
I said the wonderful thing about this trail is the fact that the surface is so good. I can look ahead and make sure that everything's okay, but then I can just have my head on a swivel and see everything and not miss him. Because it's just all gorgeous.
Yes, it is. So wow, 60.
60!
I don't feel 60, and I don't know what 60 is supposed to feel like.
I think it feels nice.
Now, keep it G-rated with the cameras on, or at least, you know, PG. Okay. I still, for the most part, feel strong, except for my legs because of the broken ankle business. Still recovering from that, but you know, I don't feel weak. I don't feel tired. I have no pain. Well, you know, my right knee acts up, but that's been decades. That's not because of age. That's because I messed it up. But even that, for the most part, it doesn't hurt. It just got aggravated when I hurt my ankle. I just often feel like I don't know who that old man is in the mirror, or that ends up on all my videos. Where'd that guy come from, and what happened to me?
Well, I think he's pretty darn cute.
Well, you're obligated to say that. I wrote it into the wedding vows.
Used to always say that whatever age my kid was at, that was my favorite age. Whatever age you're at, that's my favorite age. It's all good. Hello.
So working in rehab, I'm a big advocate of activity. That's why I always put wellness through activity on the end of the videos. This is really important. So many of our body systems work just because we move. And I know the new saying is sitting is the new smoking. And I know what they mean by that. The inactivity simply causes many of our systems to stop functioning properly. And we have found a way to remain active and do an exercise that's fun. A couple years back, we belonged to one of those nice gyms. And I'm not going to say anything bad about them. It's a nice gym. But man, it's boring.
Yes.
You get on one of those machines and you watch a TV.
Yeah.
Ooh. And if that's what you like, that's cool, you know. I like this better. It fits in well to my getting out there, since I've often been accused of being out there. This feeds into my need to get out there to do the activity. Also kind of fills in for my two wheels addiction. I like being on two wheels. No, we're not doing 60 like I might do on the Harley. And we're doing 10 right now. We are 8.9 miles out from the campground. But if you had told me a couple years ago that I'd have this much fun at 10 miles an hour, I'd have thought you were nuts. Now this little ride won't be as easy as I was hoping it would be. We had a few obstacles. First being my injury stopped me from doing a lot of riding, a lot of exercising. I tried to exercise the rest of me, but that doesn't really work so well on a bicycle. But beyond the injury, a couple weeks back I had a blowout. Now I have, well, not right now. I put slime in the tires, and slime seems to do the job. I'm not gonna downgrade slime. We did have a flat on my wife's bike, and I slimed it up, and I have a portable air pump, electrical USB air pump. Slime seemed to do the job, but slime doesn't work on a blowout. You know, you got a 1-inch gash in your tube. It's like, uh-oh. And then These are a very specific size tire, and I could not find them at any local bike shop. They're 26 by 2.3, and 2.3 just seems to be a little big for most bike shops. So I went to Rad. It took them almost 2 weeks to get me my tires. They also had a kit that I ordered because I figured if my tire went, it's time to replace them all. One thing that my wife read was that the tires are supposed to be good for about 3,000 miles. We were just at 2,700, so yeah, it was time to change them all. So I ordered 4 tires, 4 tubes, and 4 Tannis Armor. It was the Tannis Armor kit. So Tannis Armor is this big hunk of sponge rubber that you put inside the tire, between the tire and the tube, and it's supposed to protect the tire. And not only that, it's supposed to allow you to run flat. I love this.
I do too.
I absolutely love this. But I had to wait a couple weeks, you know, and then getting the tires on, it threw back my time frame a little bit. So I'm not as prepared for this ride as I had wanted to be. I don't doubt that we can do it. A little bit of an aside, we're entering the Pinkerton Tunnel. And that's the bypass. It goes around. How far did we think that was? About 2 miles, 3 miles, something like that?
Something like that.
Goes
It was
through
very
there.
nice.
It was nice. We did it once, but I'd rather come through here.
It's pretty dark in here though. I'll let you go ahead.
All right. La. La 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 la. La 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 la. So I also figured that since we were almost 3,000 miles into it, I would change the brakes. So I was getting a squeal on my back brake. Well, I pulled out the brake pads on my bike, on the rear wheel. They were fine. I figured, well, I got them off. I got the new ones in my hand. I put them in anyway. I still have that squeal. I think I have a bent rotor. I did a lot of adjusting. We went out last week. We got maybe 5 or 6 miles and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to take it back and futz with it some more. And I seem to have found the combination yesterday that got that very minimal squeal. Now, the directions do say that you have to give it a good 20-30 miles for it to bed in. And it was squealing a whole lot more before. Now it just feels like I got Jiminy Cricket riding passenger with me.
But it's not bad.
It's not bad, and it's not doing any damage, so we'll go with it. We are 10 miles in.
Woo!
Only 50 more to go.
Hey, that sounds great. Let's do it. Look at these flowers. Just look at this. Aren't they beautiful?
You know, I was just about to turn the camera off too. That's the thing. So mountain laurel is the state flower for Pennsylvania. That's what we're seeing, and it's in full bloom as we come up through this cut. Normally I'd say let's give it a little oomph to get up this hill a little bit, but we have to ration our power.
Yes, we do.
Continue to love these bikes. I did a video sometime back. If you're watching this video, congratulations, you're one of like 3.5. Some of my videos have like 45 views, which I think is pretty cool. Probably about 43 more than I thought. But my review of the bike has over 2,000 views.
Woohoo!
It just kind of stuns me. You've already seen the dimensions of the bike, so what do we continue to like about the bike? Well, those, I'm going to slow down a little bit, you go ahead. Those rear racks are awesome. You may have seen on mine that I just took a toolbox and some hardware and I installed it. And it comes in handy. I have tools in there and stuff. Really, that's all what we've installed. The water holders Those are pretty much the only modifications that we've made. Other than that, I know some people really like to mod out their bikes, and good for them. You know, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. That's not so much.
Oh, you're fine.
You're fine. Just wanted to let you know. No big surprise, declining power. I started out, I could get on, you know, there are 5 bars like the old time cell phones, right? To show you the charge. On 1 bar, I could get over 20 miles. My wife can still get over 20 miles. I'm getting about 17. That's on Power Assist 1. On Power Assist 2, we were getting about 13. Now I'm getting about 8. Yesterday, we were not that far away. We decided to kick it up just for the fun of it. And I put it in 3. I very quickly dropped down a bar, a lot faster than I expected. So the power consumption goes very quickly. But on number 1, I can get, we'll say arguably 20 miles. Not too long ago, I got 21. But more commonly, it's been trending to 17. When we were buying the bikes, my wife made a hard sell on the case that we really needed the step-throughs because we're getting older, and we plan on keeping and using these bikes for some years, that it could be hard at some point to pick a leg up in the air and swing it over the seat. Well, that came absolutely true when I broke my ankle, and I could get out and ride, but to balance myself to swing that leg over, it wasn't happening. So the step-through that was a good decision. Now, I still contend that you don't need a light on the trail. You're going to be riding on the streets, certainly. But on the trail, at least if you're going to have it on, point it down so you're not blinding people.
Especially in tunnels.
Yeah.
Put your lights down.
I don't mean turn down the volume, literally turn it so that it faces downwards and not into people's faces. It's just kind of rude.
Well, in very dark tunnels, it's really distracting. In some of these tunnels, you really have to be careful to stay on the path.
It messes with your night vision too.
Yes.
You know, you're going along and you're starting to adapt to the darkness, and then all of a sudden, wham, someone's bright headlight is in your face, and now forget it, you can't see anything. So what is it about the bike that you think is pretty rad?
Okay, I could probably go on and on. I will start with the fact that I think the seat is very, very comfortable. Yes, I have bike shorts on, but the bike that I used to have, I thought in the beginning it was a comfortable seat. But the more you ride, the more you need a comfortable seat. This just feels comfortable to me. Another thing that I think is great is the handlebars and these leather grips. I mean, I put them so that it's comfortable for me, but anybody can change them. I like, after a while, my hands get really stiff. A lot of arthritis going on, so I like to be able to lay my hands flat. I can get to my brakes, not a problem, but I'm just kind of laying them there, and it's really comfortable. Love my rack in the back. Love the fact that it's just really, really well balanced. Hello. It's just an incredibly comfortable bike to ride, and I have ridden it, hello, on 0 power. It's kind of fun. You'll be out in front of me, and I'll just be chasing you down, you know? It makes me feel like I'm really getting some good exercise.
Now something's dragging on mine. I thought maybe it was the brakes, which is why I swapped them out. And really, I don't seem to feel that drag. But so many times when you're riding, you are coasting, and I'm pedaling.
Oh yeah, I can coast 100 miles on this thing.
My next step will be to swap out the front bearings. I really hope it's not something in the motor.
I hope not.
But if it is, I'll buy a new wheel and motor. Well, that'll cost a couple bucks.
I look at it this way, we're going to maintain these bicycles for as long as we possibly can, and we're going to, swap out parts when we need to. But if we eventually get to the place where they have outlived their, where it becomes more of a money pit to keep these bikes, then we'll probably get more rad bikes.
And by that time, the technology and the battery technology and all of that will have improved. And it might be even worth it for us to keep these things and put them on display, because they're pretty much a Model T. I love these cut-throughs.
I love this.
Now, what would you do to improve the bike?
Don't know. Honestly, I'm just so content with the handling, and I can't think of anything. I know that they're heavy. They are heavy, but I feel supported and comfortable because they're heavy. Like, you get on something that's really lightweight, I don't know that I would have the feeling of security on it that I do on this. I'm a big girl.
And by heavy, she means they're close to 70 pounds. My battery weighs more than my friend's entire bike. He just has a street racing bike, 6 pounds. Battery is 7.
Hey, I've got my favorite bathroom stop here.
You need to use it?
Yep.
What is this, Markleton?
Markleton. At 11.6 miles.
Okay, what I would change, what I would like it to have is the Rad City has a limited amount of regeneration. It actually will charge the battery when you put the brakes on. I would like to be able to just flick a switch and put the regeneration on when I'm going down long extended hills. Kind of like putting it in low gear in a truck heading down a hill. I want to be able to do that just to retard my process without actually putting the brakes on and filling my battery up. Lots of neat technology out here. How about this? It's a tandem recumbent. It's a pretty cool rig you have here. How fast can you go?
Not fast enough.
Really?
The upper limit is pretty fast if you're going down a hill.
Well,
But it's slower than a regular bike.
I just figured with 2 people in recumbent you could go. Guess I was wrong.
Hands on that machine.
Okay.
You're cheating.
It's not cheating. I'm not competing with anybody.
We're participating.
That works.
I got a bad knee and a bad ankle. I couldn't do it. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Ride safe. I saw a sign back there at Markleton that said the Mason-Dixon line was 29 miles away. Well, that would be an almost 60-mile ride from Markleton to the Mason-Dixon line. Add 10 and 10 to outflow. That would be an 80-mile ride. Maybe one day. Not today. Kind of mulling it around. It's about 10 miles to Ohiopyle. A little over 14 miles into it now. So if we turn around it, we can do 20 this way and back, then Ohiopyle and back. That's our 60-mile ride. Yeehaw.
These are trails you can never get tired of riding either. They're just so pretty.
Love it down through here. And while I really like this part of the trail, I do like from Rockwood and beyond. I really like Myersdale with the train station and the museum. I like the bridges up that way, the Bolin Bridge, the Big Savage Tunnel, and of course that amazing view from the other side of the Big Savage Tunnel. Funny thing is, we never set out to do this way. The youngest went off to college and we decided to do some camping. They bought me a tent for Father's Day and a big old cooler, and off we went. And we went up through New England, Mount Washington, the Kangamingus Highway. Sites up there, it was beautiful. Take the car up Mount Washington. There's no way I could take the RV up there. They wouldn't let me. It's an 8-mile mountain road to the highest point in the Northeast. And then we decided we got the minivan. And you know, that was a pretty neat little camper. Fold down the back seats. We'll put a blow-up mattress in there. I got a nice little power inverter. But you know, the power inverter worked fine. I could plug it into the car and blow up the mattress. But we soon found that sleeping on that big old blow-up mattress was like being on a slip and slide.
And it made us up a little bit, like level with the windows.
It made us level with the windows, so we were a little on display. Felt like we were in a fish tank. We bought a futon mattress, put that in there, and boy, that worked beautifully. The van itself has a DVD player in it, a little TV screen. That's not why we bought it. We bought it secondhand. That was just like, hey, look, we'll never use this. But the one night camping, rainstorm came, so we went and laid down and put a movie in. And we watched maybe half the movie, and hey, it stopped raining. We went out and started the fire back up and had the rest of the evening outside. We really liked the minivan as a camping option. And I look for different ways of doing things. And you go online, and there's so many people that permanently alter their minivans for like a permanent camper or even a stealth camper or permanent living. Now, we needed our minivan to be versatile. Okay. I didn't want to run over him.
No.
I don't know. Big black snake on the trail there. I've made the mistake of running over them before. Not on purpose. But we like the minivan. I mean, we take people in it, so the seats have to be there. We haul stuff in it, taking daughters to college and stuff like that. So liking the versatility of it, we couldn't just permanently alter it as a full-time camper. We learned a lot of weekend things, as I call them. Lots of different types of campers out there, and we are weekenders because I can't afford to retire yet. So we go out every opportunity we can on the weekends to get out there. So we were able to get the RV, which is a whole story in and of itself. And one day I would like to do a video. Hello. I would like to do a video of our RV because it's an older one. What year's our RV? 13?
2010.
2010. Okay. So it doesn't have the crazy amenities that the newer ones have. But again, I've made certain adaptations and I've done certain things, and it's perfectly fine for our use. It helps that I'm a handy guy and I can fix it when things go wrong, and things will go wrong. You know, things go wrong on your car that need to be fixed. Things go wrong on your house that need to be fixed. This is a rolling house. People described it as an earthquake on wheels. Things shake loose, things break. I mean, things just break anyway, but add in the fact that you're going along and getting shaken up, things break. But I came home one day, my wife found a really good deal on an older unit with low mileage on it, and we had to act on it right away. And this was before COVID. This was before all the...
This was a good year.
This was a year before COVID. This was before all the craziness about the RV. And we still had to act on it right now. We had to put money on it, sight unseen. We ended up getting the RV. So we started taking the RV out. We liked the fact we had come to a decision long before, when we were still dreaming, that we wanted a shorter one. Because we wanted it to be nimble, and versatile. I'm combining words here, making up my own. And we took it out, and we had a good old time. And I realized that because it's a motor coach, you know, once you're plugged in, you're plugged in. You can still go places, but you got to unplug. Yeah, it's a simple act to go and pull a plug out from a power stand, but you got to make sure that the vehicle is travel worthy. Everything has to be stowed and in its spot. And while we try to keep it neat as we go, it's really small and it's really messy really fast. Everything has to be put away. You have to, it's work. I'm not complaining, it's just a matter of fact. So I'm thinking we need something to be a little more mobile. I thought taking bicycles would be a great thing. So I went and found my 20-year-old mountain bike that was pretty pristine in the basement. Got a $100 Walmart bike for my wife. Morning. If it's still morning. Hello. 16 miles, I dropped the bar.
Oh my.
Oh, that's the lowest yet, 16 miles. And I've been very conservative with my use. I haven't used my throttle at all. Kept it in one the entire time. It's a little alarming.
Well, think about it.
Oh, we'll have juice to spare as long as we keep it in one.
Yeah.
We rode those bikes. And we took a trip with them up through Michigan. I'm just going 4 or 5 miles on those bikes, man. That was a trek. That was a
Especially
long
when
way.
it's over 100 degrees.
Yeah, that made it a little more difficult, but that's not what was affecting our legs. We just weren't in shape for the trip. So a lot of those campgrounds were like, we stayed in a KOA outside of Petoskey. It's about a 4-mile trip on a bike trail. Traverse City, about 4 or 5 miles. And we were dying, and it was 100 degrees. And then I would see people every once in a while with a little electric bike. So I started dreaming, like I did with the RV. I started dreaming, started doing research, seeing what was out there, and found the Rad Cities. Rad City's a fine bike. We like them a lot. Are there better bikes out there? You bet. You want to pay 10 grand on a bike? You go right ahead. You can get a Rad bike for $1,500. For the price point, seemed to be the best thing that I could find. Other people like different ones. There's the Himaway, there's the electric. There are a lot of things out there, but we are perfectly satisfied with our Rad bikes. Rad power bikes. We have the Rad City step-through models, and we are absolutely pleased with them. And again, it helps if you know how to work on things. I swapped out the brakes myself. It's not even the brakes on a car. Brakes on a bicycle aren't that hard. And I'm talking the old drum brakes that you used to do on a car. I used to do them. You know, doing the wheels, getting the tires on, and then just doing research as far as when things do go wrong. The only 2 errors that we've had so far, the error 30 maintain and the error 25 maintain. And the error 30 maintain is usually in the power. And there are 2 places on the bike that, when I've had error 30, that's where I go, and it's usually one of them. One is the plug that goes right to the rear tire, and so I just make sure that when I remove the tire, and look at the Rad video. Rad has a video on removing a tire. It's not difficult. Just make sure you notice where all the washers are, how they're placed and where they go. It's fine, it's easy. And you need a couple of zip ties, and you need to cut them off. So go buy some zip ties so you can zip tie them back into place. Put that connection there, and you don't even have to pull it apart. You just kind of squeeze on it, and that works a lot of times. But whenever I pull it apart, I just make sure that I clean out those contacts. And the other one is right here. Oh, if I put my head down, it's right in here. And you just make sure that the connection on these wires on the front coming off your handlebars, make sure that connection is good. The Air 25 had to do with the brake system. Well, I've had a problem with, like, the brakes were on. And what happened was that somehow the computer is reading that the generator is regenerating. And it was like trying to go with the brakes on, like you're dragging a brick behind you. The quick fix for that, it's not a fix, it's the workaround. Turn on your headlight. I don't know why it works, but it works. Put on your headlight, it'll get you home. Now, I did a whole bunch of research on that, and it talked about the sensor and the brakes, and I really did try to look at that first, but that was a real bugger to try to get apart. So I went back and did a little more research, hoping there was another thing to look at, and sure found one, because there are connections from the front brakes, of course, to the computer. Tell the computer what to do. You disconnect them and put them back together. Now, I tried that on the road and it didn't work, but what I didn't know at the time, I found with some research, is you have disconnects to the headlight and the tail light. Take those apart, put them back together. Just disconnect it, put it back. And on her bike, it was the one to the tail light. I took it apart, you know, I pulled it apart, I put it back together, and ta-da, bike works.
Thank God you're handy, though. That would have been a problem for me, because I would have been upset, and you just take everything in stride, so I'm very thankful that you are.
Well, getting upset doesn't get you home.
I know. Like I say, thank God I've got you.
Hello. But doing the research, we found that the Rad City had what we wanted. Already told about why we picked the step through, that the Rad City was the right height. She also talked me into getting the City instead of the Rover. I forget why. Why did you want me to get a City like you?
I like the looks of these.
Okay.
The Rad Rover had smaller wheels,
It's a bigger bike though.
Yeah, but I just preferred the look of these bikes better.
Okay. Well, it was a good thing that I got identical bikes, and they come in two colors, black and white, so I got one of each. It does come in handy when you pull something apart and you didn't pay attention to how it came apart, and then you got to put it back together. Well, hey, I got another one over here. I'll go look at that. Oh, there's supposed to be a washer here. I must have dropped that. You know, get on all fours on the floor, look around. Oh, well, here it is. There's what I'm looking for. It's good to have two of the same. We drove, what, 700 miles. We drove to Indianapolis to find a guy who rented rad bikes. And we went and checked them out, and obviously liked them very much, and got online and ordered them.
It came pretty quick.
It came pretty quickly. This was pre-COVID. We got them in what, November?
Yeah.
So they came in November. April, I got laid off because of COVID. I'm glad that we got them when we did, because I never would have bought them being laid off. And we're approaching Rockwood, 18 miles into it, so I guess this will be our turnaround.
We'll sign the book. Always make sure you sign the book here.
Sign the book at Rockwood. That's how they get their funding. A little bed and breakfast up here for sale, unless it's sold already. It has a bicycle shop attached. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oh.
Go 1/3 of our way into our journey today. We have 40 miles to go. So why the heck are we standing here looking at a waterfall? Let's go. This is a property that I find intriguing.
Yeah.
I just wonder what's up in there. There's another one. They don't want you trespassing. I don't say I blame them, but just wonder where it goes. Beauty of why we like the outflow campground so much. That's the northbound in Pittsburgh to our left, and we'll be riding that in a little bit. For now, we're gonna go have some lunch. Okay, 2/3 of the 60-mile birthday trip almost accomplished. About 4 miles short. We are heading off into Ohio Pile. So earlier we headed up that way, and now we're heading down this way towards Confluence, Ohio Pile, ultimately Pittsburgh. But we're not going to Pittsburgh, not today. That is our home port, and Confluence is over that way, over the bridges. Great little town. We stopped and fueled up our bellies, put a charge on the camera, put a charge on the bikes, because, you know, why not? So in that short amount of time, it jumped up to 5 bars. Let's see how long. Because usually that would take a couple hours. Well, let us see how many miles we can go before we drop down to 4 bars again. Oh. That's what I was saying before, that we drove several hundred miles to Indianapolis just to test ride the bikes. Even at that point, we had no idea things would become what they have. Now, instead of using the bikes to augment our camping experience, we're going camping for increased biking experience. And on those regular bikes, Our last trip we did 30 miles on one trip. Our first trip on the e-bikes we did 40. And we have done 50-mile trips. And we did a 60-mile trip before this ride. Not really so much because it's groundbreaking, but because it's symbolic. I was working with a patient a couple weeks ago. I asked him if he could put his socks on. He said that he could not, and I asked him why. Because in occupational therapy, part of what we do is dealing with dressing. He said he'd gotten too old and too fat. I'm 3 years older than the man. Put my socks on every day. I do not plan on going gently into that good night. Okay, I've already dropped the bar.
Have you really?
Yeah. But we do like the fact that we can take the RV. It's only 22 feet long. We can take it to trailheads and park there. Versatile, nimble. It's just too bad we can't stay at the trailheads overnight. Anybody out there dreams of the RV life, understand that you can't just park anywhere and plunk out for the night. There's a good chance you'll get booted. Now if you wanted to sleep by day and travel by night, that would be simplicity itself. But you wouldn't get to see much. Just more mountain laurel blooming on this beautiful cut through. These trees standing like sentries. Okay, so we got electric motor to make it easier for our legs. I think we need to invent an electric seat.
I really don't know how it could be made.
Oh. I'm coming over.
Aren't they beautiful?
This is Ohio Pie. I'm gearing down. Now pay special attention to how low the lowest the river is, the Youghiogheny. The next bridge we go over will be a lot higher, and that's why there's so many rapids here. The rules of the bike path are kind of null and void through here, just because most people coming through here have no idea that there are rules to the bike path. Look how high up we are here. Great Gorge! Yep, Kentuck Campground. Oh, look at that. Well, by my reckoning, that's 12.0. Turn it around? Yeah. All right. That's our turnaround. We are 5/6 of the way into my birthday ride. And as we go up into Ohio Powell, we're going to take a little stop for ice cream. This is my birthday and I'm going to have some ice cream. Has it even been a year? How long since I started losing weight?
Well, when did you go to that doctor?
I don't know. November? Before November? October? But since then I've lost what, 30 pounds?
I'd say about that.
So it's my birthday and I've lost 30 pounds and I get to have some ice cream.
That's right.
I'll
And
have
you're going to have steak and cake.
I'll have 30 pounds of ice cream. Can I have 30 pounds of ice cream, please?
You would be sick.
But I'd be sick with a smile.
Following you. Wherever you go is where I'm going.
Woo!
That's a fun for a winter snack.
Okay. I've had my ice cream. But I've lost my wife. Here she comes. I'm reading 4 bars.
Huh?
I'm reading 4 bars.
Awesome. So much.
I don't get it.
Gonna put it in 2 and go?
Let's put it in 2 and go.
Okay.
8 more miles to go before we complete our run. Looking for a 60-mile trek today. There are many that I wish could or would join us on these treks, but there are none that I would want here more than my wife.
Aww. I love you.
And on this 60-mile trek, she's here with me, helping me to celebrate my birthday my way. And proving a point. Get up, get moving, go for a ride. I'm still recovering from a broken ankle. I've had a wonky knee for years. And I can ride. It's a great exercise because, of course in my opinion, it's fun. You get out, do some adventuring, do some learning, get to see some great spots in western Pennsylvania. Beautiful countryside that's western Pennsylvania. It's not jarring your joints like running. I used to run. Why my knee's wonky. This is a great exercise for endurance, for balance, for core strength. You want to keep that core strength and balance as you go on in your years. You want to stay independent and stay at home. For us, this is just a fun way to do it. Low impact on the joints, and just a whole hoot of a lot of fun. The electric bikes allow a lot of people to do what they wouldn't be able to do normally. Like that guy who said he was too fat and old to put his socks on. He could do this. Get some great range of motion going, getting his legs moving, working on that core strength, getting the body moving, building up cardiac function and pulmonary function. And the electric bikes allow you to do it without straining, without making you feel that it's too hard. You don't have to age gracefully. You can go kicking and screaming the whole way in.
No doubt about where we're going. We just don't want to get there one day early.
We're only a 2-hour drive from Pittsburgh. We're strolling along here doing 14.9 mph. There's that wall. You can see why they build here. It's one of the few flat areas access to the river.
Yep.
We're approaching the last 5 miles. Here we go.
Right.
Taking it up into 3rd power assist.
Yep.
Warp factor 3. Engage. Right away drop down to 2 bars. So with no extra effort. On 3, doing 19.5. I wouldn't do this if other riders were around. Do you see any other riders? This is it. Less than a mile. As you come back through Confluence. Cute little berg. Gear it down.
Huh?
Gear it down. Then either get in front or behind me. Okay. And there we go, my friends. 60 miles on my 60th birthday.
Yep. I do believe you went a little over 60.
Yeah, we needed a bit of a buffer in case of the naysayers.
Yep, you're right.
Here we go. Home again, jiggity jig.
Yay! 60 for 60.
60 miles. All right. Hey, thanks for joining me on my birthday. What a great day. What a great ride. Beautiful day, beautiful weather, beautiful company. Mo they.